Hey guys, welcome back. Long time no see. I'm going to go ahead and try to record my birth story before I forget while it's still fresh in my mind. It might be in two parts. Our internet hasn't been very good, so most likely I'll put it at least in two parts, especially if it's too long, which it probably will be. And I'm going to just go off of my memory. I didn't write anything down. So we ended up giving birth to Darren October 22nd at 8:27 p.m. and he was 6 pounds 2 ounces and 19.5 inches long. My water broke. I'm sure you guys, if you saw the previous video, the day before, which was Wednesday the 21st. It broke while I was at work. I was with a patient and it just started leaking out. And I did have a sanitary pad in because I kind of had a feeling that it might be soon. And I ended up staying for an extra patient because I told them that I would. While my water was broke, I ended up running errands and everything like that. And then I came home and took a shower. And I was like all ready to go, but like I never really had any contractions at all. So I started like doing like on the bounce ball, the birth ball, and walking a lot. I was doing squats. I was trying to do anything to help my contractions, but they never came. And I didn't go to the hospital right away. The reason why I didn't is because I really didn't want Pitocin. I wanted my contractions to start on their own. And also, I don't remember my doctor mentioning if my water breaks to go into the hospital right away. He just told me to wait till I had contractions 5 minutes apart. So anyway, I wasn't too worried about it. And then, nighttime came and tried to go to sleep, woke up, still nothing. And finally I was like, okay, this is just a long time. So I did end up calling, paging my doctor at like, I think 12:30 at night, and one of the nurses answered or whatever, and she said she'd page him and he would call me back in 20 minutes. Well, I ended up falling back asleep and nothing happened. I didn't get a phone call back. So when I woke up at 2, I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't get a phone call back. I better call back and let her know. And then that time he called me back right away. He said that the last one he didn't have my correct number or something like that. Anyway, he freaked out. He told me to go to the hospital right away, blah, blah, blah. It's been too long. I'm at risk for infection. So we gathered up our stuff and we went to the hospital, and my doula met us there. When they admitted, or before they admitted us and they checked me, I was 1 centimeter dilated in the triage room. And they did confirm that my water broke. And then they admitted me. And then when I was admitted, my doula was there. They started me on Pitocin immediately. A small amount though. It wasn't a lot, just to try to get my contractions going. He knew I really didn't want the Pitocin. I wanted a natural birth. The whole reason why I didn't want an epidural to begin with my my birth plan was because I didn't want the Pitocin. Basically, I heard that, and obviously it's not always true, but I heard that if you get an epidural, it can slow labor and then, end up getting a Pitocin anyway, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't want Pitocin because I didn't want a C-section. So when I got there and they started me on Pitocin, I kind of had in my mind, like, okay, I already know the contractions are going to be more intense, more frequent, more quick, and than just a natural labor. And there is a possibility that I'm probably going to end up getting an epidural, but I already have the Pitocin anyway, so if I get it, I get it. So I was kind of really open-minded at that point. But the contractions started coming and they were fine and we were managing them really well. We were on the birth ball. My doula had these awesome oils. She was rubbing my back. My husband was with me, squeezing my hand through the contractions. They were super, super painful, but totally manageable. And we did that. I wish I paid attention to the time, but like time to me was just flying by. But we did do that for a while. I think I ended up getting admitted to the hospital, I want to say around 5 a.m. On October 22nd. So that was that Thursday, somewhere in there. And then when they checked me, finally, they asked, if I wanted to be checked because my contractions were getting very intense. And they were like 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes apart at that point. I wish I can remember the time. I honestly could not tell you the time. I think it was like 9 or something. I was not paying attention to the time. All I know is every time I looked at the clock, like an hour had gone by, and I was like, wow, it's been an hour and I've been dealing with contractions. I'm doing really good. Anyway, so I'm guessing, I don't really remember what time it was, but it was sometime still in the morning-ish when they checked me. And when she checked me, I was only 4 centimeters dilated. And I was like, okay, I can still do this. That's fine. And then right after she checked me, like an hour after that, I swear the contractions were crazy intense, and they were coming every minute apart. And my doula said that when you have Pitocin, obviously it is more painful, and they peak a lot, you know, more higher than your natural body would. And let's see, she said that even though my contractions were a minute apart, it didn't mean that I was reaching transition or anything yet. There's really no way to know because it was on the Pitocin. It's just not as natural or something like that. I don't know if that's true, but that's just what she told me. So I didn't bother to get checked or anything, and I just kept trying to fight through it. But yeah, by the time they were like a minute apart, and they were really, really intense. It was like an hour later. It was only like, I swear, an hour later, maybe 2 tops after she checked me at 4. And the nurse came in, and like I was not dealing very well. So all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I went from coping very well the whole time to, I don't want to do this anymore. This sucks. I was in a lot of pain. I couldn't even describe the pain. It's like such a crazy feeling to even describe. But I didn't get any real breaks in between them. They just came so fast, and they peaked so hard. So I did tell my doula, I was like, I'm going to just go ahead and I think that I want the epidural. I don't want to be checked to know how far I am, blah, blah, blah. Once I decided I wanted the epidural, and the nurse told me it would be like 45 minutes, I was like, oh my god, I cannot believe I have to do this for another 45 minutes. Although I had been doing great the whole time, but it's like once you decide that you want pain medication, you want it now. You don't want to wait. So she told me how long it would be. She turned off my Pitocin at that point, so I was getting no Pitocin at all. And my contractions were still getting closer and closer and closer. Well, he ended up coming actually 30 minutes later, so it wasn't that bad. He was super awesome and super cool and funny and sweet, and I didn't even feel anything when he did the epidural. I didn't feel it going in or anything like that, and he was very quick about it. After he gave me the epidural, it was like 5 minutes, so it kicked in pretty much right away. Mostly my left side. The right side didn't get all the way numb, so he came back in like maybe 5 minutes later to check on me, and I told him that, you know, mostly the other side wasn't really that numb, blah, blah. So he gave me he said just a little tiny bit more and had me change positions. And at that point, you know, everybody was starving, and it was actually, I want to say like around 6 p.m. like had gone by. I don't know. It's just like crazy blur to me. I didn't pay attention to the time, but it was nighttime and it was dinner time. So I told my husband, now that I'm not in pain, like instantly I was so relieved. He was going to go get food, so he went to go in and out. So I had the epidural maybe 10 minutes, and at that point the doctor, was it the doctor that came and checked me? No, I think it was the nurse that came and checked me. I cannot remember at this point. But someone came and checked me, and it was just 10 minutes maybe after my epidural, like really immediate, because she saw how frequent my contractions were and how high they were peaking. So she looked, and she's like, oh my god, the head's already there, and you just had the epidural. So she was like, wow. So she said most likely I got the epidural when I was about 8 centimeters dilated or so, but my body just kept just going. It's really, really fast. Once I got the epidural, everything just happened so fast, and it was such a quick blur. But they, let's see, after she saw that the head was there, obviously, she called the doctor. She paged him. He came in, he verified, oh yeah, the head's there, we gotta start pushing. He's like, this is gonna be easy, this is gonna be like one push. He's like, already there, we're ready to go. But my husband wasn't there. He went to go get food. Like literally, right after I got the epidural, he left. Like 5 minutes, 10 minutes had gone by, and I already was like in labor. But the doctor was super cool, and he was like, well, I'm gonna wait. So he just kind of sat, and he was just going through his phone, chilling, waiting for my husband. But it was like dinner time, so it was very busy and stuff. I think maybe it was 5 p.m. Like it was right around rush time. So it took a while for my husband to come back, but when he did, we started pushing. Oh, and I failed to mention, I had some complications with with my labor. The doctor thinks I went into labor early. I was 38 weeks and 1 day because I was developing preeclampsia. When I got there, my blood pressure was super high, like crazy, crazy, crazy high, even without the Pitocin and stuff. So it wasn't that made it high. And I've never, ever, ever had high blood pressure. Even for all my OB appointments, it was always super, super low, and everything was great. Anyway, so